Hello everyone. Today a video about dry fasting and Lyme disease. We have many people coming to our retreats who suffer from Lyme disease. People come from everywhere, from all the continents, primarily from the United States and Canada. We really have people who come specifically for Lyme disease. Dry fasting for me is the therapy. It is the most effective answer concerning the effects of Lyme disease that have impacts on a certain number of systems which will create imbalances. This short talk will give a brief overview of the systemic approach of dry fasting. To me, dry fasting is the only type of fasting that can have a significant improvement on Lyme diseases. Some people claim that water fasting and juice cleanses have an impact on Lyme disease, but I have not seen those cases. They need to be presented to me. If people have healed with other fasts, I'm interested because the cases I've had are people who had no results with water fasting, and dry fasting truly helped them. The important thing regarding Lyme disease is that there is never just one bacterium, which is Borrelia burgdorferi. There are several types that exist. There are infectious agents that are diverse, like Babesia, Bartonella, and often Coxsackie viral loads, parasites, fungi, all sorts of co-infections. We tend to over-attack these pathogens. Lyme specialists attack bacteria with essential oils. Sadly, it makes things worse as essential oils destroy good gut bacteria, assaulting the digestive mucosa, where immunity lives. It's a mistake. Dry fasting is truly the method that worked because it will work on several functions simultaneously, several systems to restore organization. If there are too many bacteria, it will rebalance them, etc. This therapy of dry fasting truly has a global action on various systems. We have people coming to the retreats with results that are truly very spectacular. Some are nearly paralyzed in wheelchairs. We have a few cases of shooting pain, and they finish with a real result. It's not always one retreat. The result is the chaining of retreats over 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. We can truly see improvements. A single retreat can improve, but it is not always enough. We really must sequence them and look at what we are going to do between the retreats. We are going to put the focus on why there are people who recover more quickly than others. If Lyme was not only an infectious problem, would we not have implications on the other systems, particularly the immune system? When we observe people with these Lymes, there are always a bit of the same causes that come up. There is always this deep fatigue, a disturbed immune system and digestive system. There is inflammation. There are inflammatory digestive disorders, etc. There is nervous hypersensitivity to waves, to Wi-Fi, to the telephone, etc., an intolerance to stress. We have sleep issues, general exhaustion. The bacterium is present, but it perhaps does not explain all these states. Several factors influence this fragile terrain. chronic psychological stress, tensions, you are feeling bad in your life, in your job, emotional traumas, a diet that is not suitable, too inflammatory, a sedentary lifestyle, the digestive system, which represents 80% of immunity. So if we have digestive issues, Lyme will rise more easily, infections will be able to come more easily into the body. We have toxic exposures, endocrine disruptors, etc. A sleep deficit will also disturb, make it more complicated. You weaken more. So little by little, the organism will lose its capacity for adaptation. In this context, pathogens will take the upper hand and govern. The terrain represents the set of regulation capacities. An organism in good health possesses naturally mechanisms to repair, mechanisms for detox, mechanisms of immune defense, adaptive capacities. When these mechanisms function properly, the body maintains a good balance. Once the terrain weakens, the body is less resilient and resistant. In the approach of dry fasting, in the people we see in the retreats, we view Lyme as the expression of a terrain, disorganized, no longer adaptable. We truly have a focus in first priority on the restoration of the digestive mucosa. 70% of the immune cells are associated with digestion. When the gut is disturbed, you have digestive inflammation, intestinal hyperpermeability, with antigen passage into the blood. Different systems are attacked. It can be the thyroid, it can be a knee, it can be the heart, it can be various things. You contribute to maintaining a chronic inflammatory state. Many people suffer from Lyme. They also have various diverse symptoms. Work on the microbiome and the intestine becomes really something important and fundamental. Dry fasting has this action of being able to regenerate your gut after dry fasting. If the recovery is successful, we must truly have a precise attention on the exit, avoiding heavy products, cereals, gluten products, animal meats that arrive too quickly, and so on. We will not go into detail, but it is important. Dry fasting is probably one of the most powerful adaptive stressors that one can voluntarily impose on an organism, whether it be heat, cold, exercise, etc. You don't reach the same level of constraint in your adaptive responses. It is rather dry fasting. We are number one in power. In the hormetic stress you inflict upon your body, you have the subsequent adaptations that come to repair it, and your body becomes more adaptable. When food and water disappear, the body enters a survival mode, starts to save its energy, recycle its resources, to mobilize reserves and optimize functions. Autophagy kicks in and mitophagy kicks in. The digestive system goes to rest and energy becomes available for other functions. Our cellular autophagy begins to consume itself, the waste products. It is a recycling process. Cells will gradually dismantle damaged proteins, recycle intracellular waste, eliminate dysfunctional structures, the materials that are no longer functioning. We will recover the useful materials through autophagy. This process allows for the improvement of cellular efficiency. Researchers today view autophagy as a mechanism of priority maintenance for the body. Everyone should induce autophagy at least periodically, once per year. This deep regeneration of the terrain plays a key role in the improvement of patients suffering from chronic diseases, you need autophagy. Not everyone can fast, but you must adapt to the individual. These are discussions we might prepare beforehand with dietary supplements, plants. Why does dry fasting act in a systemic way? The main benefit of dry fasting is it doesn't target one problem but acts simultaneously on many levels. It will act on inflammation and it will act on the metabolism, it will act on immunity, the nervous system, the microbiome, and hormones. This global action is quite interesting when the disease involves many mechanisms at once. We have seen that this systemic approach of dry fasting produces results much deeper than approaches focused on a single pathogen that you have to fight. Precise co-infections, Babesia, Bartonella, parasites, and so on. Can we really eliminate each agent individually, or must the terrain be capable of managing these imbalances naturally? The vision is rather in the second approach. You must always have a terrain-based, holistic vision which we find most suitable. We naturally use complementary tools during dry fasting cures, notably the Metatron NLS, the diagnostic device which will be able to reveal to us the energy levels in the body to obtain an overall vision, to see where the weak means are to go and correct them. We can also say that the BOL, the GDV camera, can obtain a status report of where you stand in your body. That's why in the cures people come, get a status report, and we see where the main imbalances are. The Metatron takes time, we can't use it, we aren't using the Metatron currently. People come to see me and we spend an hour and a half trying to go into the details. Otherwise, it is the device BOL which intervenes in the check of the person at the start. Then we use the Ecolite device. It is a product that we use which aims to supply photons, UV, to the organism with specific light wavelengths in the framework of a strategy to support biology. We have a terrain action which will also have an effect on certain pathogens, because when you send these UVs with these precise wavelengths, they will be able to have actions on potential pathogens. So we really have significant efficacy with Ecolite. The combination of dry fasting, restoring the terrain, adapted diet, emotional support, that is what we do in the cures. All the support we provide, that is where we really see the results when you put it all together. And then after dry fasting, it is the reconstruction. It is an experience, but then it is the food resumption. How you will do it, how you will resume it. In case of pathology, you must be hyper vigilant, hyper strict, and then we put forward a diet for anglicides because we found that it was the most adapted resumption diet. We see in Russia in particular many carbohydrates. Sugary drinks at the end, we see it doesn't work. These are things I have tested. So I remind you that we must not give dairy products and carbohydrate products. In any case, in the first 3 to 4 days, we really avoid that because it will cut autophagy. It will make less ketosis. Ketosis is cut when you send carbohydrates. Insulin rises immediately, creating an imbalance right after the fast. It's a shame because you had a productive fast and then you ruin it with a diet that does not correspond to the physiology of a human being. The human being is not made to consume carbohydrates in excess and to regain energy. We can continue ketosis afterwards with a ketogenic diet for a few days. We don't have to do it for life, but we try at least for 3 to 4 days. We continue ketosis gently to avoid stopping autophagy, ketosis, and fasting benefits too quickly. I will not detail the limits and contraindications here. That might be the subject of another video. I want to say that we do not hold the absolute truth, but in any case regarding Lyme disease, the dry fasting approach is excellent, provided it is well prepared. If we can prepare someone for a dry fast beforehand by giving them things that will not create damage, we prefer to use phytotherapy, mushrooms, or working with devices and frequencies. We really try to find a non-invasive strategy. After the cure, we see how it went for the person. We monitor the 2 months that follow, and then we have discussions to refine things based on the fast, how it went, and what comes next. That is about all for today. The message was that we should not fight a bacterium at all costs, but have a global vision, an overview of the person, both in their physical side, their organs, but also their psychic side. It is fundamental. If you do not understand these parameters, you miss the... That's it. That's all for today. See you soon. Bye.